I turned 19 2 weeks ago. When I was 17, my father passed away at the tender age of 34. My mother and sister and I lived in our house for another year before we had to sell it and live in a 3 bedroom apartment. When he was alive, my father would sometimes write in his journal in the morning before going to work. We'd wake up for school, and he'd already be writing in our den under the dangling stained glass light at his desk, with one hand combing his hair or brushing his teeth, and the other hand carefully, almost painstakingly, scrawling his tiny words into a small blue essay journal that he got from his job at the warehouse. He'd finish up and turn out the light and lock the thin journal up at the bottom drawer of his filing cabinet. None of us really thought twice about it. Dad kept a journal of some sort. So what? My mom has since moved to another state and remarried, and my sister and I are barely 20 and all grown up now on our own. Be- Before we moved out of our house, my mother and I made a startling discovery in my father's den. As we packed away 18 years of little treasures our family kept in that house, we used his keys to open my father's filing cabinet. Inside the bottom drawer, we found my dad's little blue journal that I always saw him writing in since I was a little kid, and 172 other journals just like it. Shortly afterward, my mother admitted to me that many a night she slept alone because my father was in the den, quietly, methodically writing in his journal. But neither of us expected what we found. I had no idea how much time and effort he put into the pages of this journal turned book now. It blew my mind to think how much I thought I knew my father, yet he still had something he kept all to himself, until now. That day, my mother and I sat on our hands and knees and lifted all 173 little journals from the depths of the musty old filing cabinet, and I haven't thought about him the same since. Instead of boxing our things and piling them into the van, we sat for hours going through the pages of my father's thoughts. We read 11 of them in the first 2 hours. Each was beautifully scripted with precision and accuracy. Small letters and sentences that had form and function on the light blue paper. As we sat in the den, the morning became afternoon, and the afternoon turned to evening. We each took turns, each paragraph back and forth until we both had enough. I packed the journals away in a cardboard box and kept them with me ever since. I've since taken up a little writing on my own and gave it a try. Although I don't keep a journal, I've entered a few poetry contests and received a few honorable mentions, much to my delight. Maybe I have something to offer the world, but my father's journal was begging me to find a publisher. So here it is, in no particular order. 10 years of my father's little blue journals are now yours for your literary enjoyment. I hope no one takes this too seriously.